How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another edition of That Mill podcast, edition number 52 of the 2021-22 season. Joining myself, Omo, as my regular co-host, Mickey Simpson. You right, pal?
Yes, mate, all good. You?
Not bad, Tar. 8 games undefeated, 5 clean sheets in a row. Millwall are on fire. And obviously, we need to get some G up and obviously, get overconfident. So we've got Kyle with us as well. You right, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you, mate. How was your Wednesday? Mine wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I mean, Millwall won 2-0 and made it look really easy against a high-flying Huddersfield team who are 17 games unbeaten going into it, Kai, I'm pretty sure, no?
Yeah.
And they unbeaten from November.
Yeah, exactly. 17 league games unbeaten. Huddersfield came to town. First 10 minutes of the game, I was thinking, shit, what's happening here? But we'll talk more about the game, obviously, in part one of the show. Before we carry on, obviously, we just wanted to touch on a sad statement popped out earlier this evening from Millwall and sad, untimely death of Paul Jiggins, club journalist from the Sun, Mickey. Obviously, really devastated to hear the news, and obviously, someone that done a podcast with the club and devastated to hear the news, really.
Yeah, Paul was a good fella. I met Paul during the regen, and he gave us advice, gave us help getting stories out there, outright press statements, etc., etc. Yeah, me, Paul, and Nick owe him untold. I mean, Paul went on to be one of his best mates at Millwall. So yeah, heartfelt condolences go out to his family, his daughter. And obviously his friends as well, who knew him well. I didn't know him that well. Last time I saw him was at Peterborough, and I hadn't seen him probably before that for a year or two. But he's always pleasant, always nice. He was always on the forums, always had a view, proper journalist, stuck by his words. But yeah, no, he's gone way too early. 50 years old. He's not old at all. So yeah.
Yeah, heartfelt condolences go obviously to the family and obviously the Millwall
nice touch.
As a whole. And I think Millwall have done a nice touch. And I mean, Kai, obviously you're relatively new into the journalist thing, but I remember you telling me a few weeks ago you've bumped into Jigo a couple of times, and you said he was really welcoming and a really nice guy and really obviously a nice person to chat to and stuff, and made you feel welcome in the press box.
No, absolutely. I only saw him 2 weeks ago. Saw the statement this afternoon. I'm absolutely shocked, and just a really pleasant guy. Really, always willing to give you advice, help, and stuff, and help teach you things, and just a really lovely bloke. So yeah, it's really sad. And I thought the statement and the renaming the media suite, the Paul Jiggins media suite, was a really nice touch by the club.
Definitely, and I think that's shared by the whole, footballing world, so to speak, and a lot of reaction online to it. So, yeah, we'll try our best, obviously, to carry on the show today. But obviously, just really sad news to hear today. But we'll try and go on to the first part of the show now and talk all things Millwall 2, Huddersfield 0. Huddersfield 0. Right, welcome to the first part of the show, Kai. As I said there, mate, Millwall 2, Huddersfield 0. 5 clean sheets on the bounce, and 2 form teams again going into the game. And God almighty, weren't we good last night, mate? Try and take me through that game and relive it, really, because I can't believe it still thinking about it.
We weren't bad, were we? I mean,
No.
It wasn't a bad performance. I mean, no.
Could have done better.
Yeah, first 10 minutes was like obviously shaky. They overran us in the midfield. Lewis O'Brien, Dwayne Holmes, and I think John Russell with Jonathan Hogg behind. They just seemed to just outnumber us a little bit, and Billy and Sav had a bit of their work cut out. But after that, I felt the midfield duo of Savile and Billy really adapted really well to that. They just seemed to close the gap that they were getting into before. They were getting in way too easily through the middle and down the flanks, especially if Danny Ward was seeing a lot of the ball, and he's got a really good eye for goal at the moment. So it was important to cut that off. They did, and I think after that, it was one-way traffic the whole match. Every time we went forward, we looked dangerous. Bennett looked forward. Bennett looked dangerous. Jed looked dangerous, and Mason Bennett also. They were just sheer pace, and they just couldn't handle us. They gave the ball away a couple of times, and I think it gave Millwall a little bit of gave Millwall encouragement. And from then on, we just looked the better team. I think 2 goals really well taken from Bennett. I think he could have had, hatful more. Maybe 1 or 2 he potentially should have done better with, but the other 2 or 3 was just absolutely fantastic keeping from Lee Nichols in the Huddersfield goal. I was so shocked to see him save. The one right at the end was a really good save. One off Ballard was a superb save, and then we should have had a penalty as well. So yeah, we could have won. I personally think 5 or 6, but 2-0 will do. And yeah, it was just really good performance, especially in front of the cameras as well. Shows the whole league, the whole country what Millwall are about, and we're coming for them.
Well summed up, mate, to be honest. And I think, Mickey, I mean, let's talk about, obviously, like I said, going to the game, we were 2 form sides in the division. And obviously, Huddersfield haven't lost in 17 games going into the game last night. And, no excuses, of course. But I thought going to the game, if we do well to get a point from it, just keep the momentum going. God almighty, was I wrong, mate? And obviously, if Phobia getting 2, can't play on Saturday, which is obviously, a Millwall luck as it goes. But what a game, mate, and what a performance against a really high-flying side in Huddersfield at the moment.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the thing what showed with there is, am I on mute?
No, you're like, yeah, I know. Give it some enthusiasm. I mean, talk like he was on Talk Sport Fame the other day, which obviously we uploaded as a podcast. So, you talk like you was on Talk Sport. Come on, Mickey. You was all panache there. Give us some.
Panache, yeah, because I had to think without swearing, because I think we got a couple of comments of going, how Mickey didn't manage to say the word cunt is unbelievable, but I didn't. To me, I think it just showed yesterday the commitment of the team and the players, and obviously the practice they've obviously done in the week and read how Huddersfield was going to play, and Huddersfield tried to play that way, but we'd obviously planned around it to shut it down. And okay, it took 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes to actually start that operation, but as soon as they'd done it, Huddersfield become useless. They just looked as if we'd put their fire out, and they couldn't really do a lot. There was a few chances, but we were just, we'd defend as a team on the ball, we'll attack as a team. Some of the passing going on there was 8, 9, 10 bits of passing to get the ball around. The ball was banging around fucking gorgeous last night, and it just shows you really what that team is capable of doing really every week. And coming into this part of the season now is starting to make you believe. With the players we've got coming back, I suppose it's in a position now as well when the players are coming back. Does he play them or does he keep the ones we're playing at the minute? Because, at the moment, you don't want to rock the boat too much. But they were just fucking superb yesterday.
Definitely. I think
from start to finish.
Your thoughts there is almost what I had walking out the den yesterday, and I was saying to my mates was walking out the den that like this is the benchmark now. This is the benchmark of obviously we're 8 unbeaten, 5 clean sheets on the bounce. We're not conceded a goal in 7 hours, which is remarkable. And fast rewind it back to 10 games ago, we wouldn't have thought this was possible. But the form's been great. I think it's 7 clean sheets in the last 9 as well. And I think this clearly just kind of underlines the benchmark now. Like we said, the first 10 minutes, I think unchanged team from us. Obviously, we're kind of forced into that situation. At times, Danny Ward was, probably could have scored 2 in the first 10 minutes, like Kai touched on earlier. And there was a couple of times thinking, God, we're going to be in for a long night. But after that 10-minute point, it just seemed to click. And what I was impressed with most is, like you're saying there, Mickey, we backed ourselves to play out the press because obviously Huddersfield, Colberan's the ex-Leeds United Bielsa assistant manager, and obviously he's got that kind of pedigree of trying to press and play on the front foot. But we backed ourselves, and I thought all the defence did their bit, all the attackers did their bit. Afobe scored 2, could have scored 7, like Kai said. And I think, Kai, like I was saying there, like it was, whilst we've still got the injuries and stuff, we just seem to be defying the odds constantly. And as you mentioned, in front of the Sky cameras, it felt like a real Mill performance, but also at times a bit of class going forward, like Mickey said there. And what else could you ask for as a Mill fan last night?
No, you couldn't have asked for much more. It was absolutely superb. A couple of my family members who have they've been quite negative about Millwall, even in this 8-match unbeaten run. My uncle and his son, they've, I keep putting on the WhatsApp group, good performance again. And they're like, nah, I'm still not happy about this. Put on the WhatsApp group something like, that was not too bad, was it? And then they came back and put, may renew my season ticket now. So, they are, I feel like they're softening a little bit. But no, it was a really good performance. Really, the crowd really got behind them as well. Even in that 10-minute spell, they really encouraged them. And I think that was potentially a big factor in terms of swaying the momentum. The Millwall players were really well supported last night in terms of the crowd really, giving them that boost. And
I like Twitter beforehand.
I feel like the key battle was down the left. Scott Malone and Sorba Thomas. I mean, we were there, weren't we, at Huddersfield? And Sorba Thomas ran Scott Malone ragged all day. Mm-hmm. If he would have been gutted with his performance there, he more than made up for it. I feel like I'm repeating Gary's quotes here after the game, but he was really good, and everything he did going forward, he showed energy. he showed just desire to get back. And he just kept working so hard. He just got down that left-hand side so easy. They showed after the match on Sky. I came back and watched it, as we said before. I came back and watched the whole thing. I love doing that after the game finishes. I don't do it if we lose, but if we win, I'm all over it. But with Scott Malone, there was times where Sorba Thomas and Scott Malone, like they're neck and neck in terms of running where they are. And you look 2-3 seconds later, and Malone's 20 yards in front of him. And that just shows the energy and the pace he has. And he was linking up so well with Mason Bennett, especially in the first half. Second half, he had a couple of chances as well. And yeah, I think that was a real key battle there. And Malone won it. And I think that helped us get forward on the pitch on that side.
Definitely. I thought also, I actually thought it was Malone's best game in a long while. I think he's been quite good and a steady Eddie at times. He played on Saturday, could have scored, he obviously missed control. We obviously didn't do a show afterwards to kind of talk about that, but apparently he played for illness and, wanted to be there in a sense, and obviously contributed still to another clean sheet. But going forward yesterday, I think we're talking about the slick passes. He was involved in a lot of that, where at times the flicks won't come off, but yesterday everything he done kind of paid off, and I thought it was his best game of the season really from Malone. I can't, obviously last season during lockdown he had a couple of good games. Sheffield Wednesday sticks in the memory where he scores that goal and he lobs it over Gascoigne-esque and finishes. But I felt like Mickey, like Malone in particular, he's offering, he's 31, 32 years of age, and he's a player that, second spell at the Den. We spoke about him last season. He was one of the standout players, but this time around he's been top draw, I thought, in the last couple of games, especially last night.
Revenge. That's what I think last night was. I think it was resettling the score from when we went up to Peterborough, and I think it was the
Huddersfield
even, sorry. And it was just fucking Peterborough. Fucking hell. It's because I was looking at Peterborough all day today with fucking my firms there. But yeah, and I think it's just, I think it was just, we're just going to turn it over. We're not going to have anything. We're just going to go. I mean, it just, I don't know. There's something what clicked yesterday. It just looked as if it took that little bit, and then all of a sudden it was as if, there was like a brush over the entire team, and the crowd just suddenly come on board, and the team come on board as a joint, and there was no way it looked as if we were going to lose that game. From that moment on, it was as if that was it. It was as if there was something written, and we were just not going to lose that game for love nor money. I think we could have kicked the ball away every fucking time we got it, and I still don't think we'd have lost that game.
Midweek nights under the lights at the Den. Bit of a tongue twister, that one, but that's what you live for as a Millwall fan. I think, obviously a lot was made about Saturday getting a full house Den, and we need that back in towards the end of the season. But give me last night over any kind of outing, 12, 13,000 fans there, everyone that turns up week in, week out, and they support that team. There's a real unity, Kai, and obviously we're 8 games unbeaten, which is going to help drastically with this. And, we're getting big followings in away games, and I'm sure we'll have a massive following on Saturday, which I hope for Stoke. And obviously Reading, big following there as well. Sold out allocation. Luton, we've sold out allocation. But the unity suddenly between the players and the fans and the management, it always seen off the same hymn sheet at the moment. And that's just breeding so much confidence in this team. And I think that's what kind of contributed to that output of last night's performance, mate.
I think there's a massive connection there at the moment because the players are giving their all and fans can see that. I think before maybe there was a few, question marks whether the players really wanted it, really were working hard enough. And, as fans, we're not going to tolerate that. But now they're starting to really show that desire and willingness to work for each other. And not just work for each other, but play and work for the fans as well. Because the fans spend, their good money, good hard money. They earn the money in the week. They go to watch their team, and at the very minimum, they want to see their team put in a good performance and work hard. And now they're starting to do that. It's really building that connection back with the players and fans, which will only take us even further.
And Mickey, obviously, with regards to our home form, I think it's 7 games now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5 wins and 2 draws in that time, and only 1 goal against in the last 7 home games, mate. And the key there, is obviously, we've got the majority of our home games, and we always say if we win our home games and draw away from home, Jackie used to say this all the time, you're going to be in the right place, and it's paying off right now. And obviously, Kai touched on Neil Harris being there in the punditry studio yesterday. He said Mill needs 72 points probably to get into the playoffs. That was before the game. That's 15 more points for our next 27 available. I mean, big ask, who knows? But if you win your home games, we've got 5 left at home, we'll be in there. And that form is going to be something that we just need to keep going with after the international break, mate.
100%. And also, I think when I was on Talk Sport the other day with M2, with Cassinet, that I said that there's something was gelled since Jed come back. Since when Jed had come back, and obviously we had all that uncertainty around, is he going, is he not, and is he really injured, and all of this sort of stuff. All of a sudden he's come back, and I don't know, it's as if, you know, he's brought something with him and he's shared it out amongst the team, because the team just seems to suddenly have gone, you know, something what we've used on these shows plenty of times before. It's as if that team has suddenly understood what playing for Millwall is all about. And they now understand that they leave everything on the pitch. And as fans, we won't ever ask for any more. Regardless if we win, lose or draw, we will never ask for any more if they give us everything on that pitch. And for the last 8 games, they've done that every game. They've given us everything what we've wanted and made it interesting football. And another thing what I said on there was that it's nice to be able to look forward to the next game rather than going, oh, for fuck's sake, we're playing again on Saturday. Hopefully he won't play 5 at the back. It's so fucking piss poor, you know, it's piss boring and all this. And now it's like, we're going, hopefully we get a sellout of Stoke, but it is an awful long way to go. And it's, you know, it's not a great journey, but I hope we'll see. But, you know, at the moment, I honestly think you can start to believe it's possible. Whether or not we do or not, but I don't think it's been a long time since I've seen the manager, the players, and all the fans connected. Do you know what I mean? Even the players' social media, they're getting involved, they're getting great comments, they're getting interactions, and I just think it's a good time
to play podcast bingo. You know, to that Nottingham Forest away game 2 years ago, roughly around the same time of year, it felt like that a lot after that game, and we was like, right, that's it, 9 games to go, let's go and get it. And it feels eerily similar now, Kai. Like, this is it. Like, the unity on the pitch is being replicated off the pitch with the fans in the stands, and like, this is like, I feel like I'm meant to rhyme another line here, but I'm not. But you know, it is a football and poetry moment here where we won't. If we lose on Saturday, obviously we'd be devastated. The run's over, but it's more to it than just that. Like, there's been a turning point, and Mickey said obviously about, you know, 5 at the back 9 games ago, we was all saying we need to change it. Of course, it's a hindsight now. It's great to say, but there's definitely been a change with the way we play, where we're kind of on the front foot a bit more. Jed Wallace returning is the key crucial factor for that for me as well. And obviously that was illustrated in the goal yesterday. And I think he even took the set piece leading up to the goal for the second. So, but what I'm trying to say is, Kai, like, the unity there, it's unrivaled, isn't it? And when you get a momentum going, like we did against Nottingham Forest that time, where that performance matched the players and the fans, it's an unstoppable force, I feel like. And who knows where we'll end up, mate? But whilst we're in the moment, enjoy it, is all I'm going to say.
Absolutely, I think you've said exactly what. But also, if you look back, it was quite interesting last night. I think ahead of last night was going to be game week 37. Forest was game week 37. I think it was the home form is exactly the same. I think it's neck and neck before last night, and it was so close to being a bit of a deja vu moment, because we beat Forest 3-0, and Smith scored a hat trick. We nearly beat Huddersfield last night 3-0, and another striker nearly scored a hat trick. So it could have been
also a common denominator from that. Just to butt in, Mason Bennett was crucial in that Nottingham Forest win at the time, and he was unbelievable yesterday as well, Bennett. And he's someone that we need to keep wrapped in cotton wool, because obviously, especially going to Saturday's game, no Bennett-ophobia we've spoken about, because he can't play against Stoke. But Bennett seems to have just found a home, hasn't he, Mickey, in this side where, like, he's unplayable. Like, and yesterday at times, especially the build up to a few of the chances Ophobia had, he was crucial in pretty much everything we've done yesterday, which was good, along with Malone down that left hand side, wasn't he?
Yeah, there is remnant, you know, the team of the 87-88 where they went up, and it come to the end part of the season where they started making, you know, a big run for it, and obviously you had certain players in there who started sticking out and behaving well, and it's the same with this team. The team seems to be gelled, and no one seems to be, with Bennett, nothing seems to scare him now. Do you know what I mean? He will just go through anyone, and he will leave it. He'll leave everything on that pitch. Some of the tackles he goes in, and some of the times you see him go out and he just carries on, and you're just thinking like, fucking bloke's a monster. Do you know what I mean? He's an absolute machine. And I think our mentality, the way we are, I think he just loves all of that. Do you know what I mean? I just think he's really, really coming in to be one of our own. Let's just wrap him in cotton wool. But that team is connected. That team get on well. That team has got something to prove. And we'll wait and see. I'd rather have Jed stay with us in the Premiership, if we can ever dream that far ahead, than go somewhere else. But hey-ho, it'd be good fun if we got there for one season, wouldn't it?
Indeed. I mean, and then lastly, Kai, you spoke about earlier on when we went to the show about George Saville, and him and Mitchell in particular. I think Rowett mentioned him after the game, saying George in particular is the most quality he's shown in a long while since he's been here, really. And he was, I mean, unbelievable, especially in the second half. I felt like he just grew into it and kind of dominated the midfield. And he seems to be kind of having more and more effect further forward in the pitch as well, I feel like, Saville. And he's almost kind of replicating what he was under Harris in a sense, but his role is a bit different. Obviously, he can't get as forward as much. And I think Rowett said that, he plays in the midfield too. Initially, we bought him hopes to play in midfield 3, and he thought about playing that yesterday as well. Actually, I think Rowett said yesterday after the game, but that you can see there, like Saville is like turning in performances now that are just kind of crucial in what we're doing at the moment.
Better.
Saville's great. He's just so much. He's got so much quality on the ball. He's experienced. He knows when to perhaps go down, when to stay on his feet, when to find that pass, when to try and maybe hold the ball a little bit more. And I think he's going to be key. Him and Billy Mitchell are going to be key for these remaining games. Keithton Bell was doing so well, a couple of weeks ago, and we were raving about him. And obviously, he'll hopefully come back very soon. But South's come back into the side, and he's made it that place his own. He's just brilliant, and I think he's just started to show that form that we were all hoping for at the start of the season. Why he didn't do it then, is still questions to be answered in terms of maybe was it because he got COVID? Because he got COVID just before the season, didn't he?
I think it's the whole team, to be honest. That's even.
I think all that team.
Anymore anyway. We're post.
No, I'm not. I'm not talking about COVID. I just think no player in that team wants to be out of that team.
No.
Yeah.
Right now, every single one of them is playing for that number on the back, and they're going, I'm here. I'm not moving. No one's going to take my position.
Except for Phoebe, who has to move out on Saturday.
Well, that's the thing. Like, question to you guys is like, well, I was talking to my granddad about this earlier. I was like, he's immense for us. Obviously, he's our captain when he's on the pitch, Hutchinson. But Ballard has come back in and been like absolute rock, like he was at the start of the season. I obviously love Hutch, but with Malone's playing so well, Murray Wallace is unlikely to go to left back now because Malone's playing so well. Who do you drop in that back 3 when Hutchinson comes back? I've got no idea.
Until you don't concede a goal, you don't drop any of them, I don't think, because like the form they're on, and you're right about Ballard in particular. Like, a part of me is thinking, if Hutchinson comes back soon, is he going to manage his minutes a bit more, or he's on a risk of injury? Obviously, he picked up a knock against Blackburn, but Ballard in particular yesterday, like, he just has that quality on the ball. And when we're trying to play through the lines and try and play out the press, he's perfect at that. And also with Jed, like, pick up the space in the 10 position, like the formation as it is and the format, how it works, it's perfect. And you mentioned there about Saville obviously pick up the fouls and stuff. That was the one thing I loved most about him in his first spell with us, or second or third spell. I can't remember how many spells he's had it at this point. But the last spell he had with us before he went, it weren't necessarily the goals, it was the know-how in midfields and covering the ground in the right spaces, and he just seems to be doing that again. And I think you're right, like, if Hutch comes back, if even Ojo on the bench yesterday, Mickey, like, players are slowly creeping back. We didn't even expect to see Ojo yesterday, didn't even need him yesterday in the end, because the players out there, like you said, mate, they're doing the job and don't want to lose their position, do they?
No, but Ballard, I mean, I remember before Ballard joined us, when we sat there and we were sharing a few videos between us, and he was always that last man of defence. He always put himself in that position to stop. And, you might as well give the fucker a pair of gloves, mate, because he does just as many saves as Bart does. He's unbelievable for us. And he's definitely a player you'd love to keep going forward, but whether or not we do or not, I don't know. But, yeah, and Saville, I think Saville's starting to show class now better than what we've seen him previous. I think he's matured a lot. I think he's definitely going the right way. And as each game comes on, he's superb. But the one player we ain't even mentioned yet, mate, is Murray Wallace. What a player that bloke
He
is.
does at least 2 Cruyff turns a game. And they're outrageous. Every single game I'm tweeting, that is outrageous, Murray Wallace. Like, I just do it. I might as well have it saved in a file just to get it out every game. Pardon?
You probably have.
I probably have, yeah. I don't. I've got one in drafts though, so
it's just. I mean, the thing with Murray is that when you think he can't get any better, and then he comes out and he does. And I think this year's battle really between Player of the Year is going to be between him and Bart. Can Bart win it for the 3rd year in a row like no one's ever done before, or are we going to see the first year where it gets split between 2 players?
No, I think at this point, everyone's going to get to Murray Wallace. I agree with you about Bart. His form's been incredible recently. And it just seems to be right in time for the Player of the Year vote and stuff. Don't get me wrong. But Murray Wallace, and I think also it's worth saying with Murray Wallace, he's also one of them players, when he initially signed, it was him and Leonard. And obviously, it was a struggling Millwall team at the time. And, Leonard, I think, would have been within the shout of getting Player of the Year this year if he was still playing every game. And then Murray Wallace as well. Like, when they both came in, they were a bit of not boo boys, but we are quick to be critical of players when we sign them. And he was in that category where playing a back 4, is he a left back for Harris or is he a centre half for Harris? We're not really sure. And this left side centre half role in a back 5, it's just made for him. It's perfect. He's got a bit of pace in the sense that, and he also likes to carry the ball a bit, and he's unorthodox the way he does it, but he's just what every Millwall fan loves to see, really, and epitomises. And he just gives his all, doesn't he, Kai? And what else do you need to see from him, really? I think unless he scores a goal from 50 yards on Saturday, I think he's the number 1 elect for the Player of the Year, surely.
He should be in the Scotland team, though, shouldn't he?
He scored a hat-trick, didn't he?
Yeah.
Season. But the thing about Murray is I'd love to see it. I reckon he could play it. But I reckon he'd be brilliant at it. And maybe not brilliant, but I reckon he'd do well. I'd love to see him play in midfield. Like, honestly, if like one of the players were out for a game and we had struggled in midfield, I reckon he's an absolute machine. He gets up and down, up and down. He would put tackles in. He's got a good little pass on him now. Oh, I reckon he'd be great.
Play him up front.
Anywhere he plays, he'd be superb. I guarantee you.
I find myself saying it at times in games. Like, he could play anywhere and do a job. Like, he is that sort of player, definitely. And I think we're right to name check him. I feel like we could name check every player that played yesterday, but we do probably need to call it at that. But I think, I mean, who was your man of the match yesterday, Kai, apart from Afobe?
Well, the funny thing is, Afobe got the highest score, I think, on who scored this year.
Right, really?
9.71 or something.
What, for a Millwall player or in general?
No, in general, I think.
Nice, fair enough.
Ridiculously high. Apart from Afobe, I'll go Malone.
Afobe got it though, didn't he?
Afobe's the easy shout because he scored 2 goals. That's why I said to try and change up a little bit. But Afobe was top draw yesterday. And I think also his hold-up play was good at times yesterday, Afobe, which he's not known for. But there's been a lot of criticism about him, obviously, after the weekend game. He had a chance late on and stuff, innit, Mickey? But he seems to, I think in the front 2, with him and Bennett, it does work where there's 2 mobile forwards to play off each other, bring each other into the game. And it does seem to work in that sense, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think he's got enough space to be able to, hang around and do bits and pieces. But when he wants to run at him, he's got enough space to run. And he reads Bennett. Him and Bennett just seem to read each other so fucking well. Like on the first goal, Bennett took the shot, okay, the deflection, but Afobe was there ready to pounce. And both his goals yesterday were cracking. His second one was, on that turn, was fucking superb. He knew where that was going in before he hit it. The rest of us thought he was going to be sky high over the bar, but he knew where it was going to go and went. But no, every player yesterday, I think, deserves a mention. They were cracking. I mean, it's probably one of the only games where we probably scored 9, 10 out of each player. I don't think there was a player really, apart from maybe if you scored low would be Bart, because I think as Kai and Alex said in the match review yesterday, in the match report, that after about 31 minutes, Bart didn't touch the fucking ball.
Definitely. And I think also, Kai, we need to pat ourselves on the back a little bit here. This time last week, we said we were going to beat Middlesbrough quite comprehensively. We didn't, but we said we was due a dem performance like that. And we got it yesterday, didn't we? And we knew it was coming. And I mean, now, Kai, we're 2 points off the playoffs, mate. Go on, talk us into some positivity here, mate.
I'm just packing my trunks away here for Bournemouth. Away. I don't think I'm going to need him at this point.
No, who knows? Who knows, mate?
But I mean, the players, Gary, they refuse to talk about them. Gary said yesterday that he doesn't even know what. When asked about the playoffs, I think Alex asked him. He said, "Oh, playoffs." He said, "Are we talking about them yet?" He goes, "Don't even know what division we're in." And so I thought that was very funny, and he laughed as he walked away and stuff. But I think it's just a good mentality to have, really. Like, don't put expectation on the players. I think freedom, I think that's what they're trying to do. They're just trying to keep it quite quiet, they're just going about their business quietly. And if teams take that last night was a statement to the rest of the league. That win, that was a statement that Millwall are there and Millwall are a good side. They can beat Huddersfield. Fulham lost to Huddersfield the other day. West Brom West Brom managed to nick a couple goals back, but obviously West Brom did beat Fulham the other day. But West Brom are not that great either. But they beat Fulham, and that was a statement win for them. We beat Fulham. We beat Huddersfield. Sorry, we did beat Fulham. God,
definitely. And Mickey, obviously, credit to Rowett and Sense here, because I thought there's going to be one change he's going to make here. What's he going to do with it? But he goes light for light, keeps the shape, and we still looked threat after Fury came on. A couple of times he was, down the left-hand side, could have scored himself, a couple of opportunities. And I think
could have passed that though, couldn't he? But yeah.
Easy for us to maybe through on a defender towards the end of the game, or try to change shape a little bit and try and get a bit more defensive. But he persevered with the setup, and we got the reward. That's what we asked for as well, isn't it? From fans?
Yeah. Do you know what last night looked like? It looked like those training videos what we've been taking the piss out of Rowett, where Rowett was talking about get the ball, quickly pass it on, go off for support, quickly pass support. And at certain parts in the game last night, that's how they played, straight through the middle. Fast, tap football, 1-2s, knocking it around. And he looked as if he's enjoying his football at the minute. Do you know what I mean? He just, regardless of the rumours, we don't do this, don't do that, whatever the rumours are, I couldn't give a fuck. Whatever camp you're in, I couldn't give a fuck. But he looks as if he's enjoying it. Something's working, because every single one of those players look like they're enjoying the football. And you know what? While they're enjoying the football, mate, and we're getting the results, what we're doing, the only person who scored against us is one of our own, and that's Jake Cooper. So, that says a lot about who we are as a team at the minute, mate. When, even look at 10 games, 12 games ago, we would have been quite happily sitting there moaning like fuck about the performance, moaning like fuck about Gary or this or that. But now, hey ho, mate. We're there, and can we believe? Don't know.
Gary's 50th win as well, wasn't it?
Was it?
Yeah. Out of 122 games, 29 games, isn't it? He's had 50th win. I bet the Premiership board and the FA right now, mate, are fucking contingency plans are being planned, because the refs they're giving us at the minute, mate, don't seem to be helping their plan, do they? So I think a few more shocking ref decisions we're going to be having over the next few games, but hey ho, mate, it's
getting through it at the moment, so we'll keep going.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm sure the rest of the championship's looking over their shoulder at us coming, because Millwall are coming. So yeah, I think that brings an end obviously to the first part of the show. Second part, we're going to be talking all things Stoke away, and hopefully 9 unbeaten. Let's go into that now. Welcome back to the second part of the show. Millwall travel to the Bet365 or the Britannia, whatever you want to call it, stadium against Stoke City. Stoke winless in their last 9 games, 10 games, I think it got Ikai. You probably correct me and tell me what it is exactly, but what are you expecting on Saturday at Bet365 Stadium, mate?
Another Millwall performance from like last night, I think. Roll goes on. Stoke played last night in Wales, lost 2-1 to Stevie Morrison's side. Again, went a goal ahead. I think there was a stat this morning I saw that in all their games when they're winning this run, they've gone ahead 5 times and they've lost the lead. So even if they do go ahead, it's still to play for. I feel like on Saturday, we've still got that chance. But the question is, are we going to concede?
Yeah, true. And obviously they went ahead against us, didn't they, early in the season when it felt like a turning point where we went to 4-4-2, didn't we, for that 20-minute spell. Bradshaw scored twice, and obviously news about him is he's available for Saturday, isn't he, mate? Albeit probably from the bench, I imagine, from Saturday's game.
Yeah. Gary said last night he's hoping to have him available on Saturday on the bench. He said Ojo could only do about 15 minutes last night. That's why he didn't really. He said he only really wanted to bring him on if he needed him. I'm assuming Bradshaw probably, if he, hopefully he is on the bench, and hopefully. But as he said, it's probably going to be about the similar sort of situation with Bradshaw. It's about getting bodies back, and hoping to be able to change the game in that little sharp bursts. If we can, we can bring him on 15 minutes at the end, and he can do a little job for us, then brilliant. And yeah, hopefully he'll be back on the bench. I think earlier in the week that Hutchinson's had a little bit of a relapse, but nothing serious. Just he won't be available on Saturday. He's supposed to be available at some point on Saturday, but international break after the international break again for him. Other than that, it's 3 or 4 ball bodies back after the international break. So we're nearly back. We're nearly back to full strength again.
Not bad, is it? I think I wonder, Mickey. I mean, obviously, Noaphobia available on Saturday. Bradshaw's just coming back from his injury. I think it'd be a game too soon for Bradshaw, and obviously a couple of weeks after the international break, maybe we'll see him. What are you expecting, Mickey, from that lineup on Saturday? Obviously, the one change we've got to make is maybe Bury comes in. Maybe I imagine. I mean, obviously Evans is injured as well. I think he's got a hamstring injury. I don't know how far away he is. Be interesting if Bury comes in, how he'll do Saturday. I think obviously he's had a couple of games out now, probably chomping it a bit to come back in and do a job.
Yeah, he looked exciting last night when he come on. He's got some fucking pace on the boy. Yeah, I think him and Bennett up front, possibly with Jed sitting behind him, will probably work. And then maybe 65, 70 minutes in, maybe bring Bradders on and watch him score a hat-trick or something. Do you know what I mean?
I haven't seen a lot of Stoke, but I know from obviously when I've seen him play before, they're still a possession-based side, and I think on Wednesday night they kept a lot of possession against Cardiff. So maybe in a weird way, it might suit having Bury, Bennett, and Jed there. If we can get the ball high up the pitch, hit them on a counter attack, throw bodies forward quickly, like we tend to try and do so. Catch the likes of Sawyer's, Lewis Baker out, and it could be a game where we score on the counter and run at a counter at the opposition, so to speak.
Well, that's why Gary said on Saturday after the Borough game, he didn't bring Tyler Bury on against Borough. He felt like there wasn't enough space in behind for them to get in. Saturday against Stoke is one of them ones you hope, because they have quite a lot of ball. The ball, if you can beat them, get past them and use that pace, hopefully it will work out well. No Zach Lovelace. I don't think Lovelace will be available Saturday. He injured himself in an under-17s match on Tuesday, I think it was.
Right.
Gary said, which is a shame, but you have to expect that with the amount of games he's probably playing at the moment, 23s, 18s, 17s, and then obviously he's also playing for the first team every so often as well. So yeah, it was lovely to see him last Saturday, but it's a shame he's picked up an injury. So as you said, I think it'll be Bury, hopefully. Well, I assume so on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I think it's going to be a tough game, Mickey. Obviously Stoke, notoriously a tough place to go. I think in our recent history against Stoke at their ground, the last time we've got a win there, I'm going to tell you this because I've got it right up in front of me.
Last season.
I'm not counting COVID, mate. I told you, we don't count COVID here. We've beaten in COVID, but I'm talking about when there's fans there. It stretches all the way back to 2002. I don't count COVID, Kai. If you want, we can count COVID if you want. Was it Bennett that scored that game, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Murray Wallace and Bennett.
There you go. But I don't count COVID, Mickey. That's me. But
so
it's
20 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, with fans there, it's a tough place to go, notoriously Stoke. And they're in a bit of a shit form at the moment. They'll be eager to obviously put it right, but they seem to be slipping away, nothing to play for in their season. So it's probably an ideal time to play them, I think, just before the international break, mate.
Yeah, no, definitely. And also we're on a good run. Hopefully the fans will get behind. But again, it's a nightmare journey. I mean, I can't be there. I won't be even fucking watching it, I don't think, because I'll be fucking out cold. But yeah, I think if we play like we did last night, then going to Stoke on the mentality what we currently have, I think anything's possible. And it'll be good to go on and get that ninth win. Ninth unbeaten. Be great to keep another clean sheet and really start to believe. It'll be great to play in the next episode, to thing out of 34 for Miracle Street, where they play, I believe. Do you know what I mean?
I think we're going to call it the Aldo Derby, I reckon, because obviously he'll probably want us to get one over Stoke as well, won't he, Kai?
Is it the Aldo effect?
Yeah, since he's been back, true. I mean, obviously he's had nothing to do with the playing side, I'm sure of it, but it's no coincidence, obviously, Kai, well, it is a coincidence purely, but obviously I'm sure he would probably want us to get one over his old employers in the Aldo Derby, as I'm going to call it.
Yeah, him and Gary.
Yeah. I think he's got a love-hate relationship with Stoke fans and all, obviously, because he came there from Derby, a lot of hope, and then they blame him for a lot of the signings he made. I think a Phobie for 15 million or something silly, wasn't it?
Woods.
Sorry?
Woods.
Yeah, Woods for 5 million.
Yeah.
There's a lot of money spent there during his time there. You look at it now thinking, cool, but he's.
Do you know what? Looking back at that, you can understand why John Berylson and Steve Kavanagh wanted Aldo back.
I don't know what you're on about.
We don't want to be spending 15 million or 5 million and this and that, but yeah. But they've come out now. Once they've got out of that team, they've suddenly come on form. Phobie's now playing right. Woods, I don't care about. I didn't care about him.
They don't like him, Birmingham fans, do they?
What's that?
They don't like him. They loved him at the start of the season, Woods, but they don't like him anymore. They say he's too slow on the ball.
A bit like us said, we liked him at the beginning part, and then he just turned into being a crook of shit.
Yeah,
Took the wages and fucking done fuck all.
But I do think they're a team to get at on Saturday, Kai. Obviously, a few of their players, James Chester at the back, centre-half, 33 years of age, Adrian centre-half. They play Ben Woolmer at right back, who's notoriously a centre-half, who's obviously from Watford. And obviously, their midfield is not necessarily the most mobile. Joe Allen, Lewis Baker, Romain Sawyers. And obviously, they've got Brown at the front and Campbell, who are not bad forwards. But I think it's a kind of a mix and match sort of team there at Stoke. And I feel like I said, the form they're in, and obviously nothing really to play for in their season, it's set up for Millwall to hopefully go there and get the 3 points, mate.
Yeah, definitely. And I do really hope that, I mean, this could age really well, but I do really hope that they play Fletcher up top, because I think if they play Fletcher, they'll be lobbing quite a lot of balls forward. And I do feel like that is our ideal game, isn't it? Cooper will just win every single one, probably. Murray and Dan Ballard will clear up. Play Brown, they've got a little bit of pace. Jacob Brown, who's got a bit of pace. In behind, he scored against us last season, I believe, in the 2-1 win at Stoke. Bennett scored and Murray Wallace. So it's an exciting game, because it's one of them ones. Borough don't play on the weekend. Forest don't play on the weekend due to FA Cup.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if QPR and Sheffield United slip up, we could be in the playoffs.
Oof.
So exciting time.
So how does your bet stand, by the way? Is it once we're in playoffs at the end of the season where we are, or is it if we get into the playoff position, your forfeit's gone?
I think it's by the end of the season.
Yeah,
if we're in
because
the
I said we'd be safe and in the playoffs by the end of the season.
Interesting.
Does it count though if we're in the playoffs, right, and we're like level on points and we're like 1 point ahead or something? Do I still have to do it, or do we have to be mathematically safe and get in the playoffs?
If we finish season in the playoffs, there's nothing to worry about. I think that's what matters. Come full time at Dean Court or the Vitality Stadium, whatever they call it nowadays. As long as we're in the playoffs, you're all right. I mean, it's weird, isn't it? Like, it's a full circle this year. It goes back to the start of the season where we kind of had this hope, and this is all we want, just hope. And it's nice to be here, 9 games to go, Mickey, and just have something to play for, mate. And the players, like we said at the start of the show in the first part, they're chomping it a bit. They want to stay in that side. Confidence is brewing, very, very on point, and to the time of where we want it to. If we win on Saturday, you kind of don't want the international break. But at the same time, because what these players come from injury, it's a welcome addition. But you want to just keep playing games whilst this is happening, mate, don't you?
Yeah, it's a bit like the Aston Villa. Fucking hell. It's a bit like the Nottingham Forest game, 2 years ago, where we played it and then got hit by the COVID, where
Bingo!
we were going so far forward that you didn't want it to stop. And we are in that point now where, we could really do with the international maybe being a week, 2 weeks in the future rather than now. But hey ho.
I think the fact that it's being passed off as a good thing with injuries and stuff, it feels the right time. If we had a full available fit squad and we're at 9 games unbeaten going into the international break, then you're thinking, but because we've got the injuries coming back as well, it feels like a good chance to recharge and go again, and players get a couple of weeks off. It's good.
9 games unbeaten, going into the international break, coming back out of it with all the players fit. Who the fuck gets in the team?
But then you've got also the idea that you've got a sellout Luton away game to follow straight after the international break. That's the exciting part for me. Luton, Swansea at home, Barnsley at home, Preston away is going to be a trek, but I'm sure we'll make our numbers up there. Hull at home, Birmingham away, second to last game of the season at away, Peterborough at home, and then Bournemouth away last game of the season. It's like, you've got a bit of them all if you can. Just be there. That's it. If you can do it, be there, because you got to savour it. Come on, Mickey. What's your score prediction for Saturday's game, mate?
I'm gonna go 3-1.
Okay. Goal scorers?
I'm gonna go Murray Wallace, Jed Wallace, and Mason Bennett.
2-0. And I'm gonna go. It's changed after last night, but I'm gonna go 2-0, and I'm gonna go Tyler, and I'm gonna go George Saville from the midfield.
I'm going to go 1-0 Jake Cooper. There you go.
Love it. Love it.
I see it being a tough away performance. We're going to get over the line though, and hopefully keep another clean sheet to keep that performance churning out and see where we end up. That's the key there. Just keep going, and that I do feel like I'm on the side of international break's a good time. Players have played a lot of games and need a couple of weeks off, like I said. But I just hope we turn up on Saturday, and if we're in the playoffs on 5:30 on Saturday night's gonna be an interesting night. Let's put it that way, just to celebrate. Just that one moment we're in the playoffs, 8 games to go. Just enjoy it. Mickey, mate, anything else you want to put into the show before we shoot off, pal?
No, we'll probably do the next. We'll do the next show. We've done some exciting news. What you'll see coming now. We've partnershiped up with a stats company, a very good stat company. The information out there. Kai's slowly getting his head around it, so we will be producing more stats. You'll see the name. It's Comparis. Is it Comparisnator, isn't it?
Compassionator.
It's Compassionator. They're a Turkish company that produces stats. Kai will tell you how good the stats are. They're fucking superb.
Unreal.
And we will be going that. We've got an exclusive deal with those within the Millwall shows. So, yeah, look out for that. More stuff's coming. And also get in touch if there's any stats that you want to know. Get in touch, because I'm sure Kai will be able to dig those stats out for you. Or Omar will be able to dig them out. I just put stuff on the artwork, so it's all double Dutch to me. But no, that's it. We do a big thing with him going forward. Maybe on the next show if I'm here. But yeah, if not, I will see you all again next Thursday probably.
Nice. Mill Stato, Kai. Anything you want to add to the show before you go, mate?
No, mate. Just buzzing with everything we're doing at the moment. Can't tell you how I walked down the road earlier singing "Rockin' All Over the World."
Here we go.
Like an absolute nutter, but who cares? We won again, didn't we? So
Millwall's undefeated in 8.
2 draws.
Just the one thing: if you're not already signed up to the newsletter, it's on our bio at the top of our Twitter feed. Join up to that, because we've got a new thing coming on the days before match day. We've got a load of stats, and Kai's going to be doing a match review. So if you want to get in with that, come straight to your inbox. It's quite simple. Just sign up. I think it's just an email address, and then you won't miss out on that. But other than that, yeah, enjoy the weekend, boys. You'll probably be doing a show on your own on Monday, possibly. And then, yeah, I'll hopefully, depending how it went, I'll see you all on Thursday.
That's it. Edition number 52 is a wrap. If you're new around here, be sure to like the video and subscribe. And obviously, be sure to check us out on our socials at That Mill Pods. We'll be back hopefully on Monday with another positive Mill performance to talk about. Back shortly, guys. Cheers.